Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome aboard. This is Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. I am Scott Steehn, lead handicapper over at winnersandwhiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Reichel, senior handicapper over winnersandwhiners.com.
And together we do this each and every day as we throw out our best picks, talk to you guys in real time, and have a little fun along the way. Today's torture song was Can't Stop, Won't Stop by Miley Cyrus. Scott, how do you feel about that?
Can't stop it and won't stop it.
There you go, buddy. There you
There
go.
you go.
Every day I like to play at least one song to torture Reichel right before we go on the air. So that was that was today's choice. Hey, it's good to see you guys. Good to have you aboard.
I'm more of a party in the USA kind of person.
Can't argue with that. Can't argue with Party in the USA. James Mounts in the house. Good luck today. Same to you, James. We, I don't know if we need a little luck, Scott, but we certainly need a little something to turn things around. 3 straight farms. The tax collector has hit us hard in the back 40. Got to stop the bleeding today, buddy.
We'll stop it.
Okay, cool. Well, we're going back to the well. One of our favorite type of bets to get off the schneid here. So stay tuned for that. We wanted to play the Royals. We looked at the Royals lineup, and they got like no regulars in there. So a couple. They got Mondesi and O'Hearn, who will be one of the 3 at first base. But yeah, anyway. So Brandon Kuba says I need a little some today. Who doesn't, Scott? Who doesn't? Good afternoon, Gregory Larson. Let's make money. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what we're all here for. Don't forget to check out all the great shows over here at the Max Wagers Network. Starting off with Midday Money at 12 o'clock Eastern Time, Sean Higgs, followed by Allie Burns. By the way, Scott went 3-2 on the Allie Burns show. Dave went 4-1, so we acquitted ourselves well in your absence.
Well,
And
Dave's the total expert, so you started behind.
that's right. He is the totals expert. We disagreed on one. He hit it. I didn't. So everything else we agreed on. So yeah, not a bad showing. I'll take it. Pulls my record to even 7-7. So I think I'm going to fade the Nationals all season long. I think you could do worse than that. We'll see how those numbers look. But yes,
I believe the Nationals are 1-10 in spring training.
Yeah, they are not good. Not good at all. Bucks versus Nets need an opinion. All right, we'll do that. Just wanted to go complete the way through the lineup. Of course, you got your Jim and Chris show over there, just parlays at 1 p.m. Eastern. Then you've got, 2 p.m. Eastern. Then you've got us, 3 p.m. Eastern, and wrapping it up with the Earl brothers, Nick and Tim, doing their thing with Detroit. Lenny had Tim on the show last night for baseball. If you didn't happen to catch that, you should get over there and check out, all the previews, but we had fun last night. Tim knows a little baseball there, Scott. And there he is right there. Hey, what's up, Tim? His ears are burning. We're saying good things about him. So what show is the Total Chaos on? I think you can get it at the Winners and Winers YouTube channel. I know for sure you can get it at the Max Wagers YouTube channel.
I'm trying to think if it's on Winners or Winers or if it's only on Picks and Parlays, but I'm not sure.
Because it's not her regular show. So it's either check Max Wagers Network or Picks and Parlays, and she puts it up there. Let's see, I did 6:30, somewhere around 8 o'clock Eastern time is when it goes
give
up.
or take.
So a lot of guys in the house today. Zach Von Check, an unknown entity, is here. Who else? JC Stone. DraftKings has a regular season win total match bet wager with the San Francisco Giants getting 2.5 games win total versus the Padres. Well, if I remember right, there's two games difference in them, right? Or was it 3? Was it 88, 80, 85?
The Giants were 85.5, right?
Okay, now I got to check.
I want to say they were 85.5. I know the Padres were 88.5.
You think they were both? Yeah, so it's 88.5, 85.5. So there's 3 games difference.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So,
I mean, I still like the Giants.
Yep.
I mean, Can you get the money line on that instead of getting plus 2.5? Can you get just Giants versus Padres straight up? It's a pretty good plus price.
Yeah, agreed. Cavs, Hawks. All right. So let's start because we had somebody reach out about. Bruce wants to know about the Bucks and the Nets tonight. Scott, why didn't you go to that game, by the way?
Because the Pistons one was more convenient for me.
Oh,
I already
okay.
had plans for Thursday.
Oh, okay. Total Chaos on Picks and Parlays. There you go. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it. All right. Well, let's rock and roll. So what about the Nets tonight, buddy? That's your team. The Milwaukee Bucks come to town. Brooklyn 2-point favorites. Pretty solid total on that. How about 243.5? Kind of interest you in anything there?
I think it opened up at like 237.5.
Look at Allie Burns right here. Here's your plus money, honey. What's up? And of course, Allie's going to be on the show tomorrow. So yeah, we're having a little plus money, honey, about 24 hours from now. So that'll be fun. And looking forward to it. Of course, then we'll do our NASCAR show right after that. Scott, before we get started on everything else, what are we plugging? What are we doing this afternoon? Big time for us, right?
Yeah, we're doing some wrestling.
Doing some wrestling, baby. Doing some wrestling. It's WrestleMania 38. 38, dude. It started before you were born. More than a decade before you were born. How about that?
Yep.
No, San Francisco minus 105. I knew you guys were bearish on the Padres over, so I like that San Francisco bet. Yeah, we do too. We heartily endorse that. Miguel Burrows says, like Allie when she said UNC versus Duke were a must-do for the Final Four the other day. She trusted her gut and hit it. There you go. There you go. It happens. It happens. And I know that Allie's a big Duke fan. So you know who isn't a big Duke fan, Scott?
Me.
Well, Tim Earl. Tim Earl, also not a big Duke fan. Bruce saying Royals versus Athletics spring training. Yeah, Bruce, we looked at that. Royals are starting almost nobody.
The reason why Oakland's favored, we actually don't mind potentially Oakland.
No.
I know we like the over.
Yeah.
I think it was at 10.5. We don't mind that, but see, the thing is, the A's are using pretty much their entire regular starting lineup, and it still looks like an above-average spring training team because their starting lineup kind of sucks.
Right.
But at least they're using actual players, while the Royals are using a lot of prospects. So a lot of them have done well so far in spring training, but there's still a difference in talent there. So we're staying away from the Royals. We don't really mind the over, but we do look at the A's and recognize that at least it looks like they're actively trying to win the game by using the regular guys. So we're actually leaning to Oakland in that one.
Yeah, they're trotting out Jacoby Jones, Duncan at second base. Cam Gallagher's going to get the start at catch. Ryan O'Hearn's designated hitter. Bobby Witt's playing. Isbell's playing. Isbell's had a decent spring. He's had 3 home runs so far. Olivares, same.
Olivares been nuts. He's batting over 600.
Killing it. 609 with 3 home runs and 23 at bats. So that's pretty impressive. A's money line. Yeah, Tim, I don't hate that. Like I said, I don't. The frustrating part, Scott, is they don't show you pictures.
Yeah.
All right. So this Nets game. Let's try to stay on task here. Nets have been pretty awful against the number at home. A little better lately. Milwaukee coming to town. Scott, what do you think here?
Well, Milwaukee has fared well against the Nets in the last couple of years. Of course, you had the playoff series where half the Nets team got injured and Milwaukee won in 7. This year, Milwaukee is 2-1 against the Nets. Lost the recent meeting though. Nets had no Durant, I believe, and yet Kyrie and basically nobody else ended up winning that game. The Nets struggled a little bit against the Pistons. I was at the game, but you can argue about a look-ahead spot potentially with Milwaukee on deck. Milwaukee had that nice come-from-behind win against Philly, where Giannis had that big block at the end. It's a total of 243.5. Like, it's really just a question of, do you think the Nets can get any stops of any kind, or if they just need to score 130 in order to win this game? You have any thoughts on that?
I think they're going to need 130 to win this game. They've done almost nothing defensively against Milwaukee this year, and they've especially let them torch them from deep. I don't know how you stop that, Scott. It hasn't seemed to make a difference whether they're at home or on the road. I've got to play Milwaukee here. Tim likes Milwaukee on the money line. I wouldn't be averse to playing that. It's probably a superior play than grabbing the 2 points. So yeah,
I think I'd look for a same game parlay where if you want to take the Bucks to win, parlay it with Giannis 30+ points. Because if they're going to win, Giannis is going for 30. No offense to Middleton, no offense to Holiday. But if they're going to win, Giannis needs to go off again because you're assuming Durant or Kyrie or both will play pretty well here. I actually like the under in the game. I know 243.5 with the Nets is kind of crazy to take an under with because the Nets don't guard anybody. But all you need is one bad quarter. I mean, for 243.5, 60 points per quarter, and you're still short. Like, that's a crazy total.
Yep. I'm
going to go with the under because I think the fourth quarter will be close. I think this game's going to come down to the wire no matter what. but I'm going to go with the under as my quote-unquote favorite play on the game. Put quotes on that because I don't really love anything in the game. But I do think you'll end up seeing the teams slow the pace down a little bit in the fourth, and I think you'll end up seeing this game land somewhere in the 230s. But 243.5 at this point, missing that big of a line move, I think it's under a pass.
Okay. All right, very good. 1777 memorabilia says spring training is going to last till the All-Star break.
It feels that way, doesn't it?
It really does. By the way, 1 week from today, my friend, we fire it up. Opening day, right here. It's
looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Team totals.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's it's where the money is. You guys are going to find us taking a lot of team totals for Bet the Farm plays. We're going to be talking about a lot of team totals on the show.
We have to have conspiracies on whether or not the MLB juiced the baseballs again. So we're going to find that out.
Some of our personal favorites, team totals, first five.
Yep, all that stuff.
Yep, got to look forward to looking at that. Before we take a look at yesterday, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now that we got some folks here, don't forget to smash that like button. We appreciate the efforts as always. Subscribe to our channel here, not just on the Winners and Winers side, but also on the Max Wagers Network side over there on the YouTubes. Follow us on Twitter. I don't know. What else, Scott?
Yeah, pretty much it.
Okay, good chat.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
He's not the best color man in the business for nothing, folks.
Fly ball caught.
Nice job, Monty. By the way, do like and subscribe. Grab a chair. Climb to the top rope because WrestleMania preview is coming up right after this. So make sure.
Also, by the way, segue, I guess, because you just mentioned baseball opening day starting in about a week.
Yes.
Yeah, we also have the MLB divisions, which we officially wrapped up our previews of yesterday.
Yep.
It's 3 videos. We did 2 divisions per. So check those out.
We got us and Tim. We got us and Chris. And then we have just us solo doing the East. So,
yep.
And check out the Winners and Winers guide. Of course, as all our guides are, it's absolutely free. The link is in the description. You can get pre-ordered. Should be out the middle of next week, right before opening day. And should be able to, something you can utilize all season long. Check out our buddies over there at Caesars, as they've got a great deal going on. You bet $20 on your NBA game, or excuse me, it's college, right?
Yeah, it's a tournament.
Sorry, yep. Any $20 on any tournament game. Anybody scores at all, you win your bet. You win $200. So it's a great deal. It's basically let's be honest, Scott. It's free $200.
Yeah, pretty much.
They can't do that, so they have to come up with they do match play and they do extreme bets, things like that. Would we even call that a boost? Is that a little beyond a boost?
It's a freebie.
Yeah, it's a freebie. That's exactly what it is. So make sure you check out that. Of course, all the info is available in the show notes. So, Scott, there was a lot of things going on yesterday. And, of course, there was games. There was people that were happy. There were people that were sad. There were people that took it in the shorts, and there's people that took it to the bank. I don't know what camp you were in, but let's find out. It's the Thursday version. Call the cops. All right, let's get it rolling, kids. We're going to start off in... Never remember to roll this back up. There we go. In the NBA, you had Kings Rockets second half over 113.5. You're in pretty good shape. Each of the first 3 quarters had at least 67 points. You're making a little in-game play. You see how the trends are going. Hell yeah. Had 69 points in the third quarter. You're rocking and rolling. They just needed 45 in the fourth quarter. 45 points. What kind of teams don't score 45 points? What kind of teams don't even get close to 45 points? Going to interest you in 17-15, Scott. Holy shit. That's not even close. You had that lock, man. 113.5. That was an absolute winner. No way you lose. Ooh, you lost by 12.5 points. Call the cops.
Yeah, it's a rare call the cops where you lose by double digits, but when the first 3 quarters have 67 plus and you have 69 in the third quarter and you just need even a mediocre quarter to win, and you had both teams combined to go about 22 below the average for the first 3 quarters, that's pretty rough. But either way, looking at baseball, if you had the Rays on the money line against the Orioles, they led by 2 runs entering the 9th, and the Orioles scored 3 runs in the bottom of the ninth. Tampa lost 7-6.
Wow, that's a real harbinger of the season to come. I'd put a lot of money on Baltimore winning that division, right?
Something like that. I was going to say, if you want to make a joke out of it, it's one of the only times this season the Orioles will actually beat the Rays.
Oh, very good. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, here we go. Let's talk about the Diamondbacks and Rockies out there in Arizona. You had the under 10.5. In pretty good shape.
It's the worst beat of the day. It's the worst beat of the day by far.
Absolutely. Had just 4 runs entering the 9th inning. Arizona, man, that offense, you can't stop them. I don't even know. Can't stop, won't stop. There you go. Arizona Diamondbacks put up 7 in the top of the 9th. Holy shit, that game ended up 9-2. Can anybody here get an out? No, they could not. Sorry, guys. You're betting preseason baseball. We love you, but you took one in the shorts yesterday. Call the cops.
7 runs in the 9th inning to lose a total by a hook. It's just absolutely brutal. By the way, I was going to add one for an honorable mention, but it wasn't really a bad beat. It was kind of just an interesting spot. The Mets yesterday played against the Astros, right?
Okay.
So if you had the money line on either side, it was 3-3 after 9 innings. So you push because it's going to be a tie. They played the 10th inning, and the Mets won 5-3. I thought we're not doing extra innings. What happened?
I guess we're not doing any extra innings unless the managers want to.
I didn't really know how to grade that as a call to the cops because it wasn't like there was a run line beat there because the Mets were favored in the game. But we've been spending this whole time talking about how there were ties.
Right.
Sorry, the Astros actually won 5-3. But one game just randomly decided, you know what? Let's play the 10th. Let's see what happens.
I'll tell you what's a call to the cops if you had the Mets.
That's what I'm saying because you would have gotten a push.
Yeah, you had no bet.
That might be the only spring training game this season that actually had extra innings.
That's so weird.
Very, very weird. It caught me off guard.
They're going to have to be a little more uniform in this shit as sports betting becomes more and more prominent because gamblers, they're not going to stand for that kind of shit, man.
I got to assume anyone's reaction with the Mets going, all right, got the Mets, we're going to a push, and they see the fielders coming out for the 10th inning. It's like, wait, what's happening?
You're in your chair, you're collecting your stuff, you got your jacket, you're picking up your cushion.
You wasted 3 hours to tie.
Right, you're getting ready to take off. You stand up, and you see the fucking run out on the field. Like, what the hell are we doing?
Guy heads up to second base. Like, what's happening? What are we doing?
Jesus. All right, so there was some good news out there yesterday. There wasn't just extra inning games for no apparent reason. These are the nice, easy ones. You know who you are. You had those tickets where it was just never, ever in doubt. There was no fourth quarter shenanigans. There was no extra inning when we didn't think there was going to be extra innings. Just a nice, easy win where you could sit there and relax in your rocking chair.
So the first one, if you had a total in the Mavericks and the Cavaliers game, if you had the over 214.5, you had 128 points in the first half. And luckily, the Rockets were not playing the Kings in the fourth quarter because the game landed 232.
Oofta. Hey, if you had the Hawks team total over, you didn't have to worry about that. 121, 126, 135, didn't matter. They scored 85 points in the first half. Hey, you go, I'm in pretty good shape here. Guess what? You were. They ended up with 136. Not too shabby. Scott, it's nice to go to halftime needing 37 points in 2 quarters to get your win.
Yeah, pretty much. I believe they had 100 and change after the third quarter. But either way, if you had the Nuggets first half -6.5 against the Pacers, they led by 28 points after the first quarter, and they led by 16 at the half.
Never a doubt. Never a doubt at all. Pacers made a game out of that late, but they didn't.
They did. They actually covered. So it's kind of I can't call it a full bad beat for Denver because I believe they were tied going into the fourth quarter. But when you're up 28 after the first quarter against a team that's tanking, that's pretty rough. But if you had the first half, they struggled in the second quarter. It didn't even matter.
I guarantee you there's people out there that would say that was a call the cops game. If they had sure. Denver to cover it. I'm
saying it didn't come down to the last minute, but
right.
It was definitely rough.
Right.
I had the over in that game's been play today, which was really never in doubt.
All right. There have been some incredible totals. Royals put up 19 the other day. But there's one yesterday that tops that, Scott. And I think we're going to be talking about this team in this position a lot this year. Somebody mentioned it earlier. Auto fade may be a little strong, but it's going to be close, Scott. Let's find out on today's edition of I'm Not Mad, I Am Just Disappointed. All right. right. So we talked about it the other day. Royals offense, they really broke through. This Nationals team, Scott, they are, what do you call it? Not good.
Bad.
Not good at all. They've Patrick Corbin is pretty much not just the ace of their staff, but just about their staff. This is a bad
For now, because Strasburg's still injured.
Sure. Well,
He'll get injured again.
We'll look for him
He's inactive right now.
We'll look for him to come back and pitch for 3 weeks in June, so that'll be exciting before he goes on the IL for the rest of the year. However, yesterday in a possible preview, Nationals allowed 15 runs. Scott, that seems like a lot, right?
It's a lot for an entire game.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, they did it in 1 inning. They gave up 15 in the 8th. And they hadn't exactly shut them down before and after that, Scott, because the game landed 29-8. Good.
Cardinals spring training offense, apparently 27 Yankees.
How do they have no mercy rule in spring training baseball?
I guess the argument is the games don't matter anyway, and if the whole point is to try to make roster spots, then you should play the 9 because you're only looking at it from a player evaluation standpoint anyway. That I guess would be the argument, but if I was on the Nationals team, I would have gone home midway through the 8th.
Well, apparently all their pitchers did. I think that's a good opportunity to get one of your outfielders in there throwing some BP because you're going to need him during the season. That's what I'm saying.
29 runs. How do you give up 15 in an inning? I don't even care what single A guys you're bringing in. Somebody's out of getting out. Can you fire the pitching coach in spring training?
Who was that a home game for the Cards or for the Nationals? Do you know?
I'm actually not sure.
I was just curious because if that was a home game, it's really for either team.
I believe it was for the Nationals technically.
Okay, so if you're sitting there in spring training, it's a beautiful Florida day, you go down, you buy your Nationals ticket for $10 or whatever. At what point do you leave? How many people were left in the stands when that game was over?
I'm assuming a decent amount because there are a lot of souvenirs.
There's people out on the highway that got souvenirs, I'm sure.
Yeah, people are driving by with the windows open, hand out the window trying to grab a home run ball.
All right, so there you go. That's Mad Disappointed for the day. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, I didn't even put up the thing here. I'm not. I found it. There it is. I'm not mad and disappointed. Okay, good. All right, so let's get back to comments here, guys. Home for the Nationals. Thanks, Jacob. Yeah, God, that had to be brutal. 10 earned runs from one pitcher on the Nats, says Tim. I wonder if it's somebody that's going to break camp with him.
I'm trying to remember. Was that Voth who gave up 10 runs? I'm trying to remember who it was. It was definitely a pitcher that I've heard of.
Wow.
Let me see. I know he wasn't any good. I think it was Voth, if I'm not mistaken. No, it was Anibal Sanchez.
Oh, Jesus.
Anibal went 4 innings for some reason. Gave up 10 runs. They did bring in Voth. He came in after, so my bad. And then they brought in Cavalli at some point during the 15-run outburst, and he gave up 11 runs, 10 earned, and 2 1/3. So the Nationals had 2 separate pitchers that had 10 earned runs.
Guys,
that's not good.
Guys that have been part of the starting staff.
Yeah. It was Anibal Sanchez. I mean, that's a well-known veteran guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not very good anymore, but still.
He is not. 1777 memorabilia says, MLB just making up rules as they go. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly the way it seems. They didn't come out for the 10th inning in that Nationals game, did they?
Not that I know.
Fuck, let's play a couple more. Let's go.
Memorabilia, that was also tricky, though, because the Nationals did have one of the worst bullpens the year they won the title. They also started bringing Corbin out of the bullpen. So they were kind of using some starters here and there to help with the bullpen. They definitely got better. I mean, Hudson was great down the stretch, but I am going to throw it out there that the bullpen was awful, but they also stopped using the usual relievers for a decent portion of that run.
Yep, very good. Talk about the game tonight. Xavier A&M under 138. You want to get involved playing an over with this A&M team?
Do you want to get involved with an under with the Xavier team?
See, that's the thing. It's
really a tough call in the total.
I've got to play under. I think this A&M team. I took them on my play of the day. I think they're playing really good basketball right now. I think that is a team on a fucking mission.
They seem to be really annoyed they didn't actually get into the tournament itself. So instead of rolling over, and playing the pity game, they just decided to, actually try to showcase how good they actually are.
Yep.
And it's paid off pretty well.
Dominate. That's exactly what they set out to do. Giannis over 12.5 rebounds tonight, Skeeter.
I don't mind it. I mean, you're assuming Giannis is going to play, 37 minutes in this game, give or take?
He's nursing a knee, so maybe not quite.
He's probable, though.
No, I know he's going to go. I'm just wondering if he plays his full, 37, 38 minutes. They cut him down to 32, 33.
It really depends if they want to get the 1 seed or not. I mean, that's really the discussion, because the Nets are in that spot where they are right now in the 7-8 game. Cleveland's imploding, so you're kind of assuming the Nets would beat Cleveland in a single game playoff there. So that means the Nets would be the 7. So teams are trying to avoid the 2 at all costs. Right now, Milwaukee's in the 2.
Hey,
so you can argue Milwaukee's either trying to win to get the 1, or they might start punting games to try to get the 3. It really depends.
All right, we have a time-sensitive tennis question, Scott. Jacob Houston wants to know if you like Osaka going in 5 minutes.
It's actually a tricky match.
Straight sets plus 110.
Osaka's been dominating in the tournament. She hasn't dropped a set yet. She beat Collins 6-2, 6-1 yesterday. However, fun fact, Bencic is actually 4-0 straight up against Osaka. So I think it's going to be a closer match than people think. I think Osaka will eventually get the job done for her first win against this opponent. I don't mind the over. I think you'll see a bit of a 3-setter. The fact that Osaka is 0-4 against this opponent is a little bit concerning if you want to lay 250. So I'm looking for potentially a bit of a war.
There you go. A little fuzzy ball snap cap from Scott Reichel. Jojo Rabbit in the house. What's up? What's going on, Jojo Rabbit? David Good likes A&M tonight, -4.5. Yep, got to tell you I'm on that as well. Eric says he's on her. Good. Who wants to play the Nets in round 1? Yeah, that's the exactly what Scott was touching on there. This is a Nets team that certainly could be dangerous right now that Kyrie's back in just about full swing. Scott.
Yeah, Ben Simmons on the sideline showing off his wardrobe. They're a dangerous team to mess with.
Anyway, is he still not in game shape?
His back is bothering him, allegedly.
Jesus. Must be from all that sitting around doing nothing, huh? The Raptors want to play the Nets. Yeah, they do. And
they do, because Kyrie can't play in Canada, but Toronto's not going to get anywhere near the 2 seed.
No.
They're the 5 right now. So Toronto, I think it's safe to say, is going to be out of the play-in. I believe they're 2 games clear of Cleveland, so that's definitely a good spot there. But I got to assume the Nets are favored against basically everybody in the first round, besides maybe Milwaukee. But even Boston right now, without Williams, I would take the Nets against Boston with no Williams, wouldn't you?
I think you'd have to, right? I mean,
I think the only team they wouldn't be favored against would be maybe Milwaukee, but I would take the Nets against Philly. I would take them against Miami, and I would take them against Boston. So, yeah, I mean, the Nets are the 7 that nobody wants to face.
Yep, absolutely true. And we'll talk about that Toronto situation because that's going to be relevant against some teams, and it will be irrelevant for other teams because they have the strict vaccine mandate that you have to be vaccinated to basically come into their country. And we know Kyrie isn't. There are some other players who are not. Their names haven't been made public, but we're going to find out when they go to Toronto. We're going to find out who is mysteriously left off the list. So, any thoughts on that, Scott?
I'm trying to think of who right now is on pace to play Toronto because the top 4 are separated by about 1.5 games. So it's really just chaotic right now.
Yeah.
I want to say Boston right now is technically the 4, but it could be Philly. I'm not sure.
Boston right now is the 4, but only because Philly's played 2 fewer games, so their winning percentage is a little better. So you don't know. It's Miami. The Bucks are 1 back. Philadelphia and Boston are 2 back, and then it goes to the Bulls and Toronto. They're both 4.5 back with identical records. So
I think Toronto would take Boston to 6 or 7 with no Williams. I'm trying to think if Toronto would have a shot against Philly. I think the argument would be yes, but Embiid would destroy everybody in that series, so I'm kind of curious how that would match up. But yeah, Toronto is going to be a sneaky team in the first round.
Agreed. Big X in the house. I want to see what Boston does these next 5 games without Williams. I think that'll give us a truer picture.
They lost to Miami at home last game, but Then again, Miami is the 1 seed for a reason. It seems like they're back on track, but
You know what?
I don't know.
That was very frustrating. I had that game, and they had it covered in the third quarter, and then just absolutely puked on their shoes.
I think they scored 5 points or 6 points in the final 6 minutes.
Brutal.
Give or take.
Just absolutely brutal. That's been the way. That's been the way. Like my last week has gone, maybe week and a half. Or just the picture there. They've got it covered, and then they just decide to shit the bed. I had it over the other night. They scored 40 points in the fourth quarter. Just that kind of shit. Bronco Devil checking in said, "Love it when Heroes starts playing in Jojo Rabbit." Have you seen Jojo Rabbit, Scott?
I have. I thought it was pretty good. Scarlett Johansson was pretty good in there. The kid was pretty good as well. I don't know the name of the actor. Good movie though.
Yeah, it was solid. Absolutely solid. Eric said the line stunk. He stayed away. Yeah, agreed. Lots of fuckery in the NBA. It's a fine word.
I've been pivoting though. I like to believe I'm trying to learn a little bit. I've been gravitating more towards overs. And I know Zach mentioned it before. You see what my play today was?
No.
I had the over in the Hawks-Cavaliers game at 2:22. I woke up this morning, 2:30.
Jesus.
The line went up 8 points in 6 hours. I have never seen anything like it, to be honest. 8 points in 6 hours? I better win that game. That's all I'm saying. I better win that.
Any ideas what happened there?
Oh, I know the reason why. It was the reason why I like the over, because Cleveland's a defensive team, missing its best 2 defensive players, because you're missing Allen and Mobley. They gave up 120 against Dallas yesterday, and Atlanta doesn't guard anybody. They've scored 130-plus points in each of the last 2 games. But, I mean, an 8-point line move in the span of about 6 hours is kind of unheard of with no injury news at all. That is very weird.
Yeah, agreed. Michael,
I thought it was going to close at like 226.
Sure. Yeah. Beat an 8-point move. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Michael Dose wants to know if we think MLB spring training is going to be shortened like it was this year going forward. NFL shortened their preseason to add a game, and it worked. It kind of worked. There was quite a bit of weird injuries early in the season. And I think that's what it's going to come down to with baseball. If you've got guys that have hammy problems that you see up there in the cold weather, I don't think it'll be a permanent thing. If they don't have any increase in injuries, and it looks like there was nothing lost if everybody comes out of the gate hot, or as hot as they normally would be coming out of spring training, I think that shortened spring training could be a permanent fixture, because every week there's spring training costs them money. So,
yeah.
What do you think?
For me, what I've noticed from spring training is even though this year's been shortened, it still feels too long. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, it does seem like it's gone on a while. I'll take T.O. against Bucks without Williams, or Philly bring it. Harden and Philly are still choke artists until they prove differently.
Nick Nurse in a playoff series, man. I mean, that's going to be tough no matter what.
Yep, absolutely too. Play the middle. I
think I'm just going to ride the over.
Anytime you got an 8-point middle, that is fucking hard to pass up.
It's definitely appealing, but there's a reason why I love the over so much. I just, at the end of the day, looked at it and said both these teams should score at least 110. So I just really love the over. You can make an argument for a middle. I'm not going to. But, 8 points, if you want to take a shot at it, you can. I'm not going to. I just like the over.
See what Carter likes Abaji, MVP, with the Wooden Award winner in the NCAA at plus 500.
I don't think those odds are that great, because Kansas, don't get me wrong, is one of the favorites to win the tournament. But has Agbaji really had a great tournament? Because he's been pretty quiet in a couple of games.
Yeah, he's had his moments, but it's not like I don't see the heat with him. It definitely hurt that Sheboy got knocked out early.
If you want a sleeper, I don't necessarily mind potentially Remy Martin if you want to go for a real sleeper with that Kansas team, because Martin coming back from injury has been a huge piece for that team. I don't know what his odds are.
Oh, he's talking about tournament. He's talking about tournament MVP.
Yeah, he's talking about tournament
that
MVP.
Threw me. NCAA MVP. I thought
that's what I'm saying. So
I thought they meant the
had some
Wooden Award winner
games in the tournament.
Remy Martin has definitely stepped up. Yep, sorry.
That's what I'm saying, though. I actually want to see what the odds are on Martin, because I do think you can make an argument when it comes to MVP or impact. If you want to make that case, him coming back from injury is a huge reason why they're in the Final Four.
Well, him coming back from injury and playing well, because
Yeah, he's been playing really well.
he's been an overall, maybe not quite a disappointment, but he certainly hasn't been much of a plus. I don't think they got what they thought they were going to get out of him this season. I don't, again, disappointment. Yeah.
Well, he was injured for a decent portion of it, but
Well, I understand that. I'm talking about before he was injured.
I'm just saying you can currently find Remy Martin at around 9-1, a little bit higher potentially at other books. If you could find a 10-1, 11-1, and you think Kansas actually has a shot to win it, I don't mind it, because I think he's been one of their best players for the entire tournament.
Yeah, I'm just looking at
compared to the Agbaji 5-1. I think that's a little too short.
How about top scorer? Baji at 4, Banchero at 5, Gillespie, Manic, Samuels that round out the top 5 betting choices there.
That's a tough call. Martin at 12-1, I don't mind. If you want to go serious long shot, I don't potentially mind RJ Davis if you think that Duke really hones in on Love and they force the other guards to beat them. So I don't necessarily mind a 16-1 long shot there on Davis, which, don't get me wrong, is not going to hit, but you can make an argument. But, I feel like you can argue it's pretty top-heavy for a reason. Agbaji should not be favored at 4-1. I think that's absurd.
Okay.
But I guess the argument there is Kansas is more likely to win their Final Four matchup, so that's why
that's exactly
you're
what
assuming
that
he's
is.
going to play 2 games.
Yep.
I would probably go with Banchero if I had to pick one person. Maybe you can make an argument for Roach if you want to ride the hot hand, so to speak, but I don't even see him on the list. So, yeah, I'd probably play long shots in that one and hope for the best. But, Davis at 16-1, I don't mind it. For most outstanding player in the tournament, I think Martin has a lot of value.
Yep, very good. NIT, last NIT championship at Madison Square Garden tonight. NCAA got smart and figured they could have it in larger stadiums and make some money. I'm not up on that.
It annoys me. It was local with me.
Did you ever go?
No.
What the fuck do you care?
It was an option.
Okay. I think you're exactly why they're moving it.
Correct. Because I thought about it, but never actually pulled the trigger.
Right, a bunch of New Yorkers going, oh, that's actually...
I would have gone to a game this season if St. John's actually in the tournament, but they decided to skip it. So,
you said you guys like the athletic money line or the over 10.5 better. It's hard to bet on the athletics, but yeah, I probably.
I think I'm going to go with the over.
I think even with that weekend lineup, I still got to play the over.
Yeah,
we were looking at that. It's gone over. They've put up a shit ton of runs, like 6 straight games of the Royals. We were looking at that before the show. So yeah, a nice little parlay opportunity, maybe.
Yeah, potentially.
Why not? Hawks and Sixers money line parlay tonight. I don't hate that. MSG. I always think of Chinese food, dude. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. Ever since they had that thing on, they've had a couple on 60 Minutes. The things I'd never heard of. The MSG. And then the shit they put on the apples that make them shiny. I can't remember what that's called, but the 60 Minutes did.
Shiner?
What?
Shiner?
It's apple shiner. Somebody will know.
Apple shiner? Yeah.
But supposedly it's like it gives it the waxy sheen. If you've ever picked apples, and I know you can't keep you out of the apple orchard, but they don't look like they do in the store, and the stuff they put on there. MSG is a myth. I don't know. I've eaten a lot of Chinese food. Gluten. Here's the thing with gluten. I don't believe it's a myth for the people that have real celiac disease. Celiac disease is a real thing, but the 90% of the other people that I don't eat gluten, yeah, that's a fucking myth. Yeah, that's bullshit. Although I will say there's a pretty good body of evidence that it's a healthier diet without gluten because of the way it processes carbs and everything. But
it is. But I have a weakness for bread.
Yeah, dude, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I just can't.
And pasta.
Yeah. Well, see, there's enough good substitutes like whole wheat pasta or even like pasta made out of other shit, lentil pasta, things like that I don't mind. I can do that. Shellac or carnauba wax. Chinese are clever. Inflate the pigs. Cookies. All right. We're definitely getting some comments. All right. So, what else we got to look at tonight, buddy? We're gonna do some hockey.
There's a lot of game. There's a couple of games on the NBA card, pretty light.
Yep. You got anything? You got any hockey stuff? We haven't talked about hockey in a while.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a sec. As for the actual NBA, just briefly, I am tempted to take the Clippers. I know the Bulls are good at home. Clippers are not good on the road, but when you're missing Paul George for 3 months, I do think that factors in. Do you think the Bulls should be laying money? Because I know they ended up beating Washington. Congratulations. Washington's not very good. Clippers had that really nice 25-point comeback against Utah the other day. Plus money with the Clippers team that's starting to get healthier. I don't mind it. You?
You know, I know you spend a lot of the time every day trying to sell me on the Clippers.
Well, with Paul George showing no signs of rust at all earlier in the week, I think that helps.
It does. And this is again, a Chicago team that's up until they took care of Washington the other night hadn't been playing really good basketball, but the Clippers had been in the absolute dumps. So, you know what? Give me the home team here. I'll take Chicago.
Fair enough.
I'm not sold on the Clippers.
I think if you want to go for a dog, you can take a spin on it. You have any thoughts on the injured bowl between the Lakers and the Jazz?
No. I am noticing there's some funny motherfuckers in the comment section though. Did you ever decide on Bucks or Nets? What'd you say?
I ended up leaning towards the Nets, but my favorite play would be the under.
All right, very good. As far as the Lakers Jazz go, who's playing that game, Scott?
You got no LeBron, you got no Anthony Davis. News just broke though. Davis is expected to return against the Pelicans.
Okay.
So he should be coming back on Friday.
Bogdanovich is playing tonight, by the way.
I actually called that on my podcast. Let's go. I thought he would play today.
Great. So what are we laying with the Jazz? Yeah,
I like Utah first quarter and Utah first half.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
we've seen the Lakers get buried out of the gates, and especially with no LeBron and no AD. We saw them give up 80-something to Dallas last game. They were down by, I want to say, what were they down? 20-something at the end of the first quarter?
Yeah, it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal.
I'm going to Utah in the first half, first quarter, because after that choke job, you're returning home. You have a chance to release some frustration against a team that's really falling apart right now. I think Utah opens up a lead early.
Are you bothered by the fact that Utah's lost 5 straight and haven't looked particularly good doing it?
I don't think Utah's very good. But you look at the actual form that they are in compared to the Lakers, and you look at the actual schedule, Utah has faced a decent amount of playoff teams over the last week, and the Lakers are definitely not one of those.
I don't want any part of this. No part.
I don't want part of it either, but if you're asking me what I like, it would be first quarter, first half with Utah, just hoping they show up motivated after blowing a 25-point lead.
All right.
Last game.
Fair enough. Anything else? Got hockey?
Yeah, sure. Looking at hockey.
What we got tonight?
Let's see what I like.
We got the Isles playing. Oh, you going to the Islanders game? It's right by you.
Am I going to the Islanders game? No, but it is going to be a back-to-back against Columbus. They just beat Columbus on the road a couple days ago. I don't mind the Islanders there again. I'm assuming Varlamov's in net because Sorokin got a bit injured recently. A bit of a high-scoring game there. I'm going to go with the Islanders, though, but I'm assuming they're laying a decent price.
$1.90, buddy.
They are laying 200. I'll look at a regulation. I think they'll get the job done there. I like the Bruins, -1.5 against the Devils. Devils had a fun run there, scoring a bunch of goals, but they are 8-23-2 on the road this season. They've played 2 times this season. Boston has scored 5 goals in each. They've won each game by at least 2 goals. Boston's also played really well lately. The Devils have not. Boston -1.5 for team total over. I think Boston scores 4 or 5.
Okay. Any value on this Jets team that's been playing pretty good hockey lately, winning 5 of their last 6, catching a really nice price on them against Toronto. Checking goalies here. I don't see any shenanigans for the Jets in goal.
Winnipeg's been pretty good this season. They are
talk me off the plus 200 ledge there, buddy.
I was going to say losing record on the road 12. They are 14, 12, and 8. So including the 8 overtime losses, losing record there. Toronto's really good at home. Offensively, we know Matthews has 49 goals at this point, so he's about to have 50 again. I actually like overtime in this game. I think if you want to look for a potential decent plus money price, not to mention the Winnipeg money line, I think there's a decent chance this game's a tie after 60. So I actually kind of want to find out what that price is. But I think you can do a lot worse than looking at two teams in decent form being in a very competitive game. I'm assuming tie 60 minutes will probably be somewhere in the 3-1 range. Let me actually see what I can get there, but I don't mind overtime.
Okay. All right. Did you had an overtime play the other day? Did it hit?
I don't remember having an overtime play the other day.
Well, you talked about it. I mean, you didn't make it official, but you said you liked it.
I don't remember that game, so I don't know.
Okay, fine.
I see tie at 4-1.
Okay.
After 60. I don't mind overtime there.
All right. Somebody did. So they must have changed that because it is shellac. I thought somebody was joking, like shellac you'd put on a piece of furniture, but it apparently is shellac on apples. Sorry, and it's a resin secreted by bug called the lac bug. That is a change. There used to be a substance that was artificial that they put on there, so that's good. All right. We run the spectrum here, buddy. We talk about everything.
That's why you have to wash the apples before you eat them.
Absolutely true. Jim, I'm totally terrible with this. Oh, yeah, we go. Yeah, and I wanted to bring that up. Yeah, let's do that. Let's bring Jim in there. Because I wanted to talk about this real quick before we go. Hey, what's up? You guys know.
Hey, boys.
You guys know Jim Williams from Just Parlays over there with Chris King. Jim spends a good amount of his focus down on Tampa Bay football. So Bruce Arians, what do you say? Tampa Bay, yeah.
Tampa Bay football.
So Bruce Arians, the big announcement here this week that he is stepping down. He's actually stepping up and giving the team to Todd Bowles. His stated reasons were the fact that he didn't want to open up the head coaching search to kind of a shotgun affair. He wanted to be able to pick a successor, and he wanted to pick a quality man of color like Todd Bowles. Jim, are we buying it? Is that the reason?
Well, I mean, look, I spoke to Bruce this morning about, 12:45, just before 1 o'clock, just for a brief moment. Yeah, there's a little bit of everything here. I do believe that Bruce wanted to have Todd as his successor, and I think that he felt at the end of the day that if he really wanted to give him a shot, then 1 year of Brady is something that would help him. And look, I've known this guy since he used to coach at Alabama as an assistant back in the day. So he's always Bruce is one of those guys. If you don't want an answer, don't ask a straight answer. Don't ask him a question. And he definitely feels like this is a good thing for him. It's a good thing for the organization. A good thing for Todd. And I personally take him at his word. I mean, there's going to be a lot of theory out there on what's going on, and I really don't think it bothers Bruce. As a matter of fact, he said as much today in his press conference. It's basically, if they want to go through BS, I mean, he had a good point, and that was, a lot was made of him yelling at Brady from time to time, because if that were the case, then either Ben Roethlisberger or Peyton Manning would have smacked me down a long time ago.
Right.
So it's not like he hasn't yelled at franchise quarterbacks before.
Scott, I know you probably got your own feelings about Todd Bowles, but Jim, what's the mood down there in Tampa? Do they consider that a serious downgrade at the head coach position, or are they excited about having a defensive-minded coach like Todd Bowles in charge?
I think they look. Todd's a good guy. I mean, everybody has their days, and he had some tough times with the Jets. I think Scott would agree that the team that he's inheriting was a lot better team than he inherited with the Jets.
They weren't that bad initially with the Jets. So they won. Right. I believe they went 10-6. They lost that game against Buffalo. They had shot at the playoffs there with Fitzpatrick, but he wasn't awful. I mean, the team around him was terrible, as Jim just alluded to.
Yeah.
All right.
And the other thing is he's got the Glazers backing. He's got Todd Light's backing. Brady's all in. So I think that Bruce is a very loyal guy, and Todd's been with him. Hell, Todd played for him at Temple. So they go back a long ways, and I think that it's a good thing for for the Buccaneers that they just that there's no drama involved.
I think the
And,
main takeaway that I had personally from this whole situation was that I'm curious how much of Brady's retirement was legitimate and how much of it was a delayed power play struggle, suggesting that I'll come back, but only on these terms.
Well,
we'll never find out the answer, but I am curious.
No, I will say this. Joe Glazer's not kind of, you don't hold a gun to Joe Glazer's head. He's not that kind of guy. But if Bruce felt that, in any way, shape, or form that it was an impairment, he would do what he just did, which is step aside. Because it's the team. By the way, not for nothing, as the old saying goes, the Kansas City Chiefs got a pretty good little running back in Ronald Jones from who played at Tampa Bay.
He certainly shows some flashes. I don't hate that signing. That's a low investment, low risk kind of thing.
Yeah,
so, I was happy.
It is. His only the thing that they worked on with him at Tampa Bay was catching passes out of the backfield.
Right.
But he's getting better at that, and he's a pretty durable little guy, and frankly, I think that he's going to help the Chiefs.
Cool.
So
I know he ended up in the doghouse last year because he fumbled all the time. So he had
there was
had a bit of
that.
a quick leash, but
Andy don't cotton to that either. I'm
just saying his issue's been ball security in the past.
All right, Jim. Before we let you go, is there a bigger lock than the Buccaneers to win the South at -275?
I can't think of any. I just by the way, just for the hell of it, I love you guys baseball stuff. It's very entertaining, and I enjoy watching it.
Cool, thanks. And we're definitely looking forward to baseball season. So
yeah, it ain't that far away, and of course we got that baseball book coming out too for free, which is cool.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's I saw this morning the line moved a bit on their Super Bowl chances. It ticked up a couple of notches, but not much. But it was there. All in all, long story short, the move from Arians, to Bowles is pretty much a nothing story from a standpoint of within the clubhouse, and everybody loves Todd. Everybody loves the way that they're running the show, and so it shouldn't affect any of that.
Cool. All right, there you go. We'd like to keep you guys up to date, huh? Oh yeah, absolutely. We'd like to keep you guys up to date with the breaking information. And we know Jim was plugged in down there in Tampa. Jim, we appreciate you stopping by. And
hey, it's always a pleasure. Anytime I can sneak in and see you guys, it's always a pleasure.
All right, buddy. Well, hey, stay tuned for. It's going to be the wrestling show in about 5 minutes, in about 10 minutes.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
All right. Well, David is coming in, and who else?
Chris is coming in. Chris is coming in too.
Oh my God! You got a tag team.
That's right. So yeah, we'll.
I'll have to sit back and get myself some popcorn and watch.
Yeah, get on the top rope, grab some popcorn, and have some fun. So.
There you go, boys. All right, have a good time, and be careful, don't cut each other.
Thanks, man. We'll see you.
All right, bye-bye.
There he goes, Jim Williams, good dude. I knew he was plugged down in there in Tampa. It was cool of him to stop in. So, all right, Scott, let's get to it, man. We talked about it earlier. We're cold. We've lost 3 straight. I can't remember the last time that happened, but it's fucking done today. I'm ready to, as the kids say, I'm ready to knock it off. Scott, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's let me get this. There we go. Are you ready? It is once again time to climb aboard your John Deere. Adjust your nice straw hat that you bought. Of course, get your keys out. Lucky Rabbit's Foot. Rub that Lucky Rabbit's Foot today. We're going to need the extra stuff. And fire that bad boy up, kids, because once again, it's time to bet the farm. All right, we're going to try this. I'm going to show my fancy new farm picture. There it is. You set? Look at that. Yep. It's amazing. How about it? How about it?
Just like that.
Just like that. All right, kids. It is back to you, Scott. We've like I said, we've been a little bit chilly here, but that's over today because we're going back to the well, something that's worked for us in the past. And of course, what's it going to be, my friend?
It's going to be a player prop because I did one of those player prop podcasts today. There was one play that I really like. It's going to be in the Nets-Bucks game. It's going to be Andre Drummond over 10.5 rebounds at around -110.
Hey, let's take a quick look. There you go.
Long range, 5 of 18.
Pulling down some boards.
Fournier, no good from 3. Drummond.
It's an old clip, I agree. But still.
Milton,
It's
no
the same.
good. Drummond, there on the...
All right. See? Now we're getting fancy.
Look at that guy.
Now we're getting fancy. All right. Continue, sir.
So, over 10.5 rebounds, line seems too low. He's recorded at least 11 rebounds in each of the last 3 games. He's played Milwaukee twice this season. He recorded 12 in one meeting and 20 in the other meeting, so he's averaging 16 rebounds per game. On top of that, the Nets are a little bit shorthanded in the actual front court. Aldridge has not played since March 6th, and Claxton, we know, is way too skinny to guard Giannis, so I do expect Drummond to get a decent amount of playing time in this game. Plus, Drummond has been getting a lot more playing time recently, as he has played at least 28 minutes in 3 of the last 4 games. If the Nets want any shot of stopping Giannis, they need to put Drummond on him just because of the fact that he can handle him somewhat physically. I expect Drummond to play a decent amount, and Drummond's a guy who can grab every single rebound if he needs it. So for me, 10.5 is too low. Give me the over at -110.
All right. There you go. We're going back to the player prop well, everybody. Andre Drummond over 10.5 rebounds. That's going to do it for the farm, and that's going to do it for the show. Another one in the can for Thursday afternoon. Hey, we couldn't do it without you guys. We appreciate you stopping by. As always, thanks for contributing. This is just your show. We're just steering the boat, but you guys are the ones paying for the freight, so we appreciate it. And, yeah, feel free to stop by anytime. Feel free to stay tuned as we take a look at WrestleMania 38. It should be some fun, Scott. We're going to be some elbows being thrown there, brother. So stay tuned for that. But if you can't make it for the wrestling show, of course, stop by and see us each and every day because we do it to it Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, as Scott and I do our very best to help you to head back to the window. Take care, everybody. We'll see you then.